A sea snake can stay underwater for hours without taking a breath from the surface. But it is not a fish. It has no gills. It still needs air. So how can a reptile with lungs spend so much of its life below the waves? The answer is a set of unusual tools, a long lung, slow energy use, special blood flow, and skin that can take in oxygen from seawater. A sea snake does not breathe underwater in the same way a fish does. It cannot live forever below the surface. Eventually it must rise, put its nostrils above water, and breathe air. But some species can remain submerged for more than 2 hours. A few have been recorded staying down for about 3.5 hours. For an animal that breathes air, that is an amazing amount of time. First, look at the sea snake's body. Sea snakes began as land snakes. Long ago, their ancestors moved into the ocean. They kept lungs instead of evolving gills. But over millions of years, their bodies changed for life in water. Their tails became flat like paddles. Their bodies became smoother for swimming. Their nostrils gained special valves that close when they dive, and their lungs became very long. A human has 2 lungs. Most sea snakes mainly use one long right lung. It can stretch through much of the body, almost like a long air tank. Before a dive, a sea snake comes to the surface and takes a breath. It fills this long lung with air. Then it closes its nostrils and swims down. The lung stores oxygen. But it also helps control buoyancy. If the snake had too much air, it would float up like a balloon. If it had too little, it would sink too fast. By changing how much air it carries, the snake can hover, glide, or slowly rise and fall in the water. Some sea snakes use their long lung like a built-in diving vest. But a full lung alone does not explain hours underwater. The snake would eventually use up the oxygen. This is where the skin becomes important. Sea snake skin is not like the thick, dry skin of a land snake. In many species, it has many tiny blood vessels close to the surface. Oxygen dissolved in seawater can move through the skin and into the blood. This is called cutaneous respiration. It means breathing through the skin. The skin does not replace the lungs. It is more like a small backup system. Different species use it in different amounts. In some sea snakes, oxygen absorbed through the skin can provide a meaningful part of what the body needs while underwater. The skin is especially good at getting rid of carbon dioxide. Every time an animal uses oxygen, it makes carbon dioxide. Too much carbon dioxide is dangerous. It makes the blood more acidic and creates the strong feeling that you need to breathe. A sea snake can release much of this carbon dioxide through its skin and into the water. This slows down the pressure to return to the surface. Imagine a diver carrying a small oxygen tank. Now imagine that the diver's wetsuit could also take in a little oxygen and release carbon dioxide. That is not enough to stay underwater forever, but it makes the tank last much longer. That is close to what sea snake skin can do. Some species have an even stranger trick. The blue-banded sea snake has a dense network of blood vessels on the top of its head. Scientists think this area can absorb oxygen from the water and send it toward the brain during a dive. It is almost like the snake has a tiny extra gill hidden under the skin on its head. This does not mean every sea snake has a head gill. Sea snakes are a diverse group and their breathing tricks are not all the same. But it shows how strongly evolution has pushed some of them toward underwater life. Another key is energy. Sea snakes are reptiles. They are ectotherms, which means their body temperature depends largely on the temperature around them. They do not burn huge amounts of energy to keep themselves warm the way a whale or seal does. When a sea snake rests, waits for prey, or moves slowly, it uses oxygen slowly too. Less energy used means less oxygen needed. A snake hunting fast fish may use oxygen quickly and must surface sooner. A snake resting in a coral crack can stay down longer. Water temperature matters too. In cooler water, its body often runs more slowly, so oxygen can last longer. The snake can also change how blood moves through its body. During a dive, it can send blood where oxygen is most needed, such as the brain and heart. This is called cardiac shunting. It helps the animal make better use of the oxygen in its lungs and blood. Sea snakes also do not waste time at the surface. A fast breath can refill their lungs enough for another dive. They may spend most of their day underwater, rising only for short breaks. But why not stay underwater forever if the skin can breathe? Because skin breathing has limits. Water contains much less oxygen than air. Oxygen also moves through skin slowly. During active swimming, fighting prey, escaping a predator, or digesting a large meal, the snake needs more oxygen than skin can provide. Its lungs remain the main oxygen store. The skin only extends the dive. That is why the title needs one important correction. Sea snakes do not stay underwater for hours without breathing at all. They can stay underwater for hours without taking a new breath from the surface because they begin with air in their lungs, use it carefully, and get a little extra help through their skin. A sea snake may dive to hunt a fish hiding in a reef. It uses its paddle tail to move quietly between coral. Its nostrils stay sealed. Oxygen leaves the air in its lung and enters its blood. A small amount of oxygen also comes through its skin. Carbon dioxide moves out into the seawater. When its oxygen gets low, the snake rises. It breaks the surface just enough to open its nostrils. It takes a quick breath. Then it folds back into the water and keeps hunting. This is a risky way to live. Sea snakes must surface, but the surface can have predators, waves, boats, and changing water conditions. Staying down longer can help them avoid danger. It can also give them more time to search reefs and seafloors for prey. Their long dive times are not just a strange record, they are a survival tool. Sea snakes are also different from sea kraits. Sea kraits spend time in the ocean but often return to land to rest, lay eggs, or digest food. True sea snakes spend nearly all their lives in the sea and have stronger adaptations for underwater life. Yet even true sea snakes are still air breathers. They are reptiles that learn to swim, not fish that learn to crawl. The ocean shaped their bodies in a surprising way. They kept their lungs, but made them longer. They kept their scales, but made the skin below them useful for gas exchange. They kept the need to surface, but learned to make each breath last. So how can sea snakes stay underwater for hours without breathing? They store air in long lungs before diving. They use oxygen slowly. Some absorb extra oxygen through blood-rich skin. Their skin also removes carbon dioxide. Their bodies direct blood carefully during a dive, and a few species may even use special blood vessels in the head to take in oxygen. It is not magic, and it is not true underwater breathing like a fish. It is careful oxygen saving. Below the surface, a sea snake twists through blue water. Its lung holds one precious breath. Its skin quietly trades gases with the sea. Its body slows and saves energy. For a long time, it does not need to rise. But when the hidden air tank finally runs low, the snake turns upward, touches the surface for one quick breath, and disappears underwater again.